Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Well, it seems like the Russians are not learning this little lesson, and that is don't wrestle with a pig because the pig might like it. So, or another one is don't, again, play with the pigs because you're going to get dirty. Well, it seems like the Russians are doing exactly that. And they lower themselves to deal with International Criminal Court from The Hague in responding to that in their own way, which is they open their own criminal investigation on the court. So this is like ridiculous or childish. It was childish enough, and even though stupid, I would say, coming from this court in The Hague. All right, well, that's their actually that's what they do, right? But on the other hand, they know they have no jurisdiction over Russia or Putin or China or United States of America or India or Pakistan, but they still get going. And then, hey, we issued an arrest warrant for Putin. Okay, and those guys go, okay, we're going to investigate the judges here and see who's who, what's what. Okay, well, they will not have jurisdiction over the International Court of Criminal Court from The Hague. No jurisdiction over there, as those guys have no jurisdiction over there. It's like pointing fingers at one another without being able to do anything about it. But hey, let's see. Let's see what exactly the Russians intend to do. This article comes from Russia Today from March 20th, 2023. Moscow opens a criminal case over Putin warrant. And this one right here from Reuters. Russia defies Putin's arrest warrant by opening its own case against International Criminal Court. So what are they supposed to do? Hand him over? Red Rover? Well, I don't know exactly the details, and I don't want to, how should I say, jump the line or anything like that, get ahead of my skis. But I didn't like how Serbia handed then the President Slobodan Milosevic to this international court after Yugoslavia was bombarded by NATO in 1999. I don't think you send your leaders to someone else to judge them, because you can't do that with their leaders, and I totally disagree with that. That's your matter, and you do it here. Did you guys in Serbia had a chance to put in front of a court a judge, I don't know, Bill Clinton, Madeleine Albright? No, then why would you send this guy over there? That was such a weasel move. I can't believe that happened from the Serbs that I admire. Here, I don't think the Russians will be so, I don't want to use any epithets, so let's move on here. Let's go to the Russian one so we hear it from the horse's mouth, right? Russia's investigative committee says the International Criminal Court prosecutor and judges acted illegally. The International Criminal Court prosecutors and judges who issued an arrest warrant for Russian President Vladimir Putin have become the targets of a criminal case Russia's investigative committee announced on Monday. In the Telegram post, the committee said that it had opened cases against ICC prosecutor Karim Ahmad Khan, as well as judges Tomoko Akane, Rosario Salvatore Aitala, and Sergio Gerardo Ugalde Godinez. Okay. Khan sent a petition on February 22nd to the ICC pre-trial chamber to obtain warrants for the arrest of Putin and Russia's Commissioner for Children's Rights, Maria Lvova-Belova, whom he accused of being responsible for the, and I'm quoting, illegal deportation of children from Ukraine, end quote. His petition was approved by the aforementioned judges. Russia's investigative committee has described the ICC prosecutions as, and I'm quoting, obviously illegal since there are no grounds for criminal liability. All right, maybe they have grounds. It also pointed to the 1973 United Nations Protection of Diplomats Convention, which grants heads of state absolute immunity from the jurisdiction of foreign countries. That's why, if you remember, New York City, New York State, I don't think it was New York City, court dropped the case against Mohammed bin Salman, the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, regarding the murder of Khashoggi. Because they said, well, even if we do whatever we do here, he's got immunity. So then what? Zero. Are you going to go and abduct Mr. Mohammed bin Salman from his bed with his ladies? I don't think so. So, not ladies, because I know he's married, but hey, I don't know what's going on there. He's married and he's got like, I don't know, like 5 children or 6 children, something like that. So, yeah, he's heterosexual. Anyway, good for him. Then we go to Putin. Do you think that these guys are going to go and arrest him? Please. He got immunity, but this was just made for propaganda issue, for propaganda, maybe not for propaganda, partly for that, obviously, to show the public opinion that Putin is a criminal, not proven by a court, but he is a criminal. Because remember, this is how these weasels are doing. They start with something that, like right now, they said, well, there is grounds to think that Putin and Livova, they committed crimes against children and all that. They're grounds. It doesn't mean they are convicted, because you know we have to go through a process and all that. But they will stop there. Well, even if they go and let's say they convict these guys in absentia, they will send it to the world community, will be trumpeted for about forever, that hey, you see, those are criminals. He's criminal with legal, right here, the court find them. You see all that. And people will think, yes, that is correct. Well, it's not really that, because you're not going to have a chance to have those guys defend themselves. Why? Because they don't recognize this court, as does the United States of America, the good country, the best country. So there's a little problem. If the United States doesn't recognize the jurisdiction of this court, then it's zero. Anyway, you will find out that they go with something almost, you know, when you read an article and you want to find out, let's say, the glasses are bad, all right? I will say, well, it was Michael Jackson who allegedly might have said that these glasses are bad, might have said allegedly. And we have Tom Jones who wore them and then he exchanged them for a different kind of glasses. Not because he didn't like them, he just maybe preferred them. But hey, he changed them. They go with halfways. Unproven 100%. Like I say, you know what, they are ugly because of this, and I give you objective reasons why. Because they don't fit right, and all kind of things. You know, they're not good, you can't see through them, they're scratching easily or something. I have to give you objective, you know, I don't know, reasons why. These guys are just going to give you halves. And by halves, by the end of the article, he is guilty of this. These are not good, proven by the article. No, the article used only half-truths. Nothing that you use over there is 100%. And even if it's one, it doesn't mean that there's other positive things that would contradict that. But you're not going to include those over there, obviously. So here these guys will have Putin do what? It's done, so everybody else will know he's an indicted, whatever, by the international. It's the same thing, International Criminal Court. Oh my God, well, must be true. It's like the same with the Federal Reserve Bank system. It's federal, yes, it's federal. There's nothing federal about it. It's not a governmental institution. It's a system where you have 10 private banks. What are you talking about? It's United States National Bank. It's not. But go and talk to the people around you and ask them about the Federal Reserve Bank. All right, and I can give you another one if you want. It's the FedEx. FedEx is not. It's a private company. It's not nothing federal about it. But it's like I put my name right now, Federal Emil Kosman channel. So am I federal? No, I'm not. So you see, they make these kind of things that make. Oh, it's the International Criminal Court. No jurisdiction, not recognized by many countries. It's international, but it's not United Nations. So, okay, well, he was sent warrants. Okay. Oh, he's going to be maybe indicted and then, I don't know, convicted based on the evidence they will use, but not the other side, because the other side doesn't recognize your jurisdiction. So you see how things work? Anyway, let's see what are these guys doing against them. So the committee considers Khan's action a crime under Russian law for, and I'm quoting, knowingly bringing an innocent person to criminal liability combined with unlawfully accusing a person of committing a grave or especially grave crime. Unquote. He is also charged with preparing an attack on a representative of a foreign state, and I'm quoting, with the intention of complicating international relations. End quote. The three judges are being accused of attacking a foreign state representative as well as attempting a, and I'm quoting, deliberately unlawful detention, end quote. Russia has disregarded the ICC warrant as having no legal basis, with ex-President Dmitry Medvedev suggesting it was a good sign of the collapse of international law. He also described the ICC as shitty and wanted by nobody, and said it had a poor record of holding high-profile suspects accountable, explicit pro-Western bias, and had failed to investigate U.S. war crimes in Afghanistan and Iraq. The Kremlin has officially reacted calmly to the ICC warrant. Vladimir Putin's press secretary Dmitry Peskov told RIA Novosti on Monday that there are already plenty of, and I'm quoting, openly hostile manifestations in relation to both our country and our president, end quote, and that taking it all, and I'm quoting, to heart would not bring anything. So this is the Russian justification of why they will bring, they would bring charges towards and open a criminal case for the International Criminal Court of Hague. I covered this in previous videos with who's a member and who's not, because that's what's important, who's not, and the heavyweights are not, and not only. So that makes you wonder why they're not, because they commit the most good things on this planet, obviously. That's why when some people say, well, look at Second World War, look what these guys did, look how much destruction, yet it was awful, horrible, it should not happen again, and definitely that should not have happened. But anyway, we're not going to go into that, we need days to discuss that. The thing is, we say, oh, look what happens, but you remember those little genocide in Rwanda? You remember that Tutsis and Lutsis, Kupi Lutsis, they killed what, 2 million people in, I can't remember how many months, 7 months, 8 months, with machetes or whatever. Now imagine those guys having at least the Second World War weaponry. What would they have killed? I made a video on that one before, where I made in 7 months, or how much it was, I can't remember. Watch that video. They killed in 7 months, I'm just putting 7 months, but I can't remember how long it was, this amount of people. And I calculated that if that would have continued as the Second World War, for what, 1939 to 1945, if I put it together, those guys with a machete would have been more efficient than the guys with automatic weapons, rifles, there were some automatic weapons as well, with airplanes, with bombs, with tanks, with cannons and all that. So it's sometimes you say, oh, look at the big guys, they are able to, they are committing more crimes. Well, because sometimes they can. And not necessarily that they are more evil or more bloodthirsty than other countries. Remember, there's a study where it says that found according to the study that the ants, they're very warlike little creatures. The ants, if they would have nuclear weapons, if they would possess nuclear weapons, the ants, they would start a nuclear war in 9 seconds, between 8 and 9 seconds. So yeah, the same here. Well, these guys killed, look what you did in Second World War. I don't know, maybe if you would have the Tutsis and the Gutsis having the same power, military power, maybe we would have it like, I don't know, 50 times we had a Second World War. I don't know. So you see, it's the spirit, the heart. Anyway, as I said, the Russians are just gonna ignore what this International Criminal Court finds. I don't know. I am for finding what happened, all right? But the problem is I don't like seeing a politicized court, and I think that's exactly what this is in this context. Why? Because if you would be this fair, you would have other U.S. president, for instance, presidents issued the same thing. And I can mention the guys who invaded Iraq, the guys who bombarded Yugoslavia. Those were not, legal wars, if you want to put it that way, under the international law that we like so much. Remember the war in Iraq, how that came to be based on reality and truth. Remember, weapons of mass destruction, terrorists trained over there, and then bringing love, democracy, and freedom to you're not in a position to do that to any country, as any other country is not in a position to bring that to you, but somehow you can do it. Why? You got this little thing. So anyway, not mine. But anyway, this is how things are run. But you don't have the ones that bombarded Yugoslavia. It was not even authorized by United Nations Security Council. That makes it illegal by international law. So what the hell? Where's Clinton? He's revered, he shows up, unzips. I don't think he's still able, but anyway, maybe he is. Good for him. But and just his whole dad, the family is the new, here we have a few families that are royalty, royal families like Kennedys, but they cut the head of Kennedy. Kennedy is gone. They have the Clintons, they had the Bushes, you know what I mean? And they're building others. Trump is going to try to do it his, but these guys are cutting him off. It's like Napoleon Bonaparte. That's exactly why he was not approved, because he was not approved. He was attacked by all the monarchies in Europe. Why is that? Because they considered him a peasant. You're a peasant. Why? Are you going to be an emperor? You threaten our? No, you're not going to accept you. You're just a peasant. That was mainly what happened over there. Not because Napoleon wanted to take over Europe. Well. And it was Britain's policy. You can't allow any country be strong on the continental territory of Europe. You can't have that, because if you have something like that, you have to make sure you create coalitions of willing and unwilling to fight that guy on their territory, and you defend your little island over there with vessels and all that. As Napoleon said one time, I need 12 hours. Well, he was impotent of crossing the English Channel. That's a reality. He said, I need 12 hours of being able to transfer, to go over. 12 hours of a window opportunity, and there will be no Britain or no England. But he didn't have that. Why? Because he didn't have a fleet. Good fleet enough as the Brits had. And good for you. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.